demonstrator in southern Tasmania. A bit of an impromptu live today. I had such a great response to a couple of videos that I popped up over the weekend and late last week. I thought I would strike while the iron's hot and actually go on and keep going with some other videos. Fairly quick one this morning, just to show you how quick and easy it can be to use our decorative masks, which are a current a new product in the current mini catalogue. This particular one anyway is the Butterflies and Flowers layered decorative masks. We've had decorative masks for quite a while in the last few annual catalogues anyway, but this one is a little bit different, and I have done videos with the butterfly and flower aspects of these masks before, so if you're interested, please by all means pop back in my previous videos. You'll recognise them as soon as I show them. That this one here, it's sort of it's a layering, I suppose that's why they call them layering masks. You actually layer the image up and use different colours to highlight different aspects of the mask. So obviously there's the butterfly there. You sort of got a single colour there and some highlight colours there. So as you say, previous video, pop back and have a look. I used those layering masks fairly extensively. This one today, there's other ones there. There's this cute little, I should move that out of the way so you can see, cute little sort of viney leaf one, which I haven't used yet, I must admit. Terrible, you get tons and tons of things that you never actually get to use. This one here, I think I've used this one a wee bit, just sort of has sort of a floral, sort of almost psychedelic look to that one. But today I'm using just this little plain daisy type one that I'm going to use for the in our cards today. I'm actually going to use the blending brushes on this to sort of make a sort of rainbow effect on the front of a card, and then I'm going to show you a couple of ways you can use that panel once you've created it. So first of all, let's make the panel. You can pop this onto a sort of card size piece of cardstock and then transfer it to the front of a card if you feel more comfortable like that. Had a little bit of a practice with this, so I'm going to be a bit brave and actually sponge this straight onto the front of a card base. So fingers crossed for me that it goes okay. And yeah, there's always more cardstock in the world. I can always bring in another piece and play it a bit safe if I need to at some stage. Anyway, I'm going to use my Stamparatus for this one. Mostly because I want to use the magnets to actually, there's a hair. I actually want to use the magnets to keep everything in place and sturdy, or stop it from moving around while I'm doing my brushing. So I'm going to bring in my card base. It's a thick white card base, normal sort of dimensions, 8 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm just going to pop it in there, line it up with the grid so I know if it moves at all. And then I'll bring in my super magnets. Oh no. First of all, we've got to put the mask on, don't we? So I'm bringing in the mask and I'm just going to lay that over the top of the card base. Try and make it straight so that my flowers line up nicely. A bit like that. Just make sure all those little dots and things line up. Yep, they look fine. And I'm just going to then bring my magnets in to sort of hold everything, hopefully, together and stop it from moving around. Okay, I can see a few people jumping on. Nice to see you all. Elizabeth, yes, I know Elizabeth's actually doing some chutney today, or some sauce. That's great. Still waiting for my zucchini chutney, Elizabeth, when you're ready to pop that down. Just jokes. Who else can I see? Donna and Susan and Lynette and Sally. Sally's there too. Peggy. Is it Irie? No, thanks for joining me. That's a new name. I haven't seen you before. Maureen, and hi Evelyn and Karen. Hey, thanks for jumping on, guys. I'll have a look at the comments as we go, but once I get started here, I'll have to concentrate or make a horrible mess. Anyway, so enough talking. We'll start actually bringing in our blending brushes. So here's my blending brushes in their very spunky, very nice, shiny blending brush holder, thanks to Jan Casey. And here's the colours I'm going to use. I'm going to use polished pink. It's going bright. This is bright today, guys, so be ready for this. This is polished pink, Mango Melody, Granny Apple Green, not necessarily in this order. They seem to have gone out of order a bit. Fresh Freesia and Coastal Cabana. So that's our colours. That's pretty bright there, just happening right there. So I think I start with the Fresh Freesia. Here we are. So I'm going to grab my Fresh Freesia or my, I have a blending brush for most colour families, so I think I'd started that one with the Fresh Freesia, so they can see that sort of matches there, doesn't it? So I'm just going to, might be off the screen there, you can't quite see, I'm inking up my little brush. I'm going to bring it in from this bottom corner. So I'm just bringing it in, and I'm just going to do the colours just as a sort of a, as I say, a bit like a rainbow. So they come out and across from this corner. So I want sort of about, I don't know, between a centimetre or maybe, no, about 2 centimetres of each colour, sort of in bands. That's the word I'm looking for, in bands. So there's my Fresh Freesia. I remember which way I had it on my original. I've already cut my original up to show you some of the wonderful things you can do with them, and I can't remember what colour I used. It's probably, let's have a look, Fresh Freesia, and then I would have gone Coastal Cabana. Yep, that's next on the pile. So here's my Coastal Cabana. Get the U out of the way. Now I'll find my Coastal Cabana brush, which must be that one. Yep. My blue-green brush. So, and then I'm going, so obviously with this one I can't come up from there because I'll cover over too much of my Fresh Freesia, so I'm going to come in from the side. And the way I find with the, let's move that magnet a wee bit, the best thing I find with the blending brushes is to use a circular motion. And to start that circle, if you haven't used them, they're the best thing. Start that circle slightly off the paper, off the card. And then you actually, by the time you hit the card, you're already got rid of a lot of that dark initial, because obviously you have more ink on your brush, you know, right at the beginning. So if you sort of offload a little bit, you come in already in that even sort of bit. It's a bit hard with the, I've got that smack bang in the middle of my Stamparatus platform, and there's no extra off the side for me to do what I've just said is a good thing to do. So anyway, that's it. So we're coming there. So that's my Coastal Cabana layer. Next, I think I'll go Granny Apple Green. Oh, sorry, I bumped my thing then in my enthusiasm. So this is my Granny Apple Green, one of my favourite greens. Might move my magnet back down there. Have a bit more room on the side to come in this time. So I'm going to just, again, circular motion. You are going to get a little bit, a wee bit of you know, merging, sort of overlap of your colours, of course. But if you pick the colours sort of sort of related, that won't matter too much because they'll merge into each other quite happily. What's next? Mango Melody. Awesome colour. Yeah, that's my Mango Melody one. Yep, there. Not that I have a separate brush for each colour, but the one I've been using this time round for my Mango Melody. Coming in, move that one up there. Coming in, circular motions. So I can already tell that this particular version of my card is a million times different to the original that I put together last night when I was playing around. That's the thing with everything in card making, isn't it? That, you know, you do the same thing, but it all turns out different. It's just amazing. It's like my two boys, same mum, same dad, same upbringing, and they're very, very different creatures. So they're a bit like two cards. I mean, both love both cards equally, but they're very different. Okay, so this one is my polished pink. Sorry, getting carried away trying to work out what sort of cards my son's would be. That's a thought. So if you were a card, what sort of card would you be? I reckon my youngest would be a, and I'll be careful, he's in the next room. My youngest would be a congratulations card, because everything seems to come so easily for him. My eldest would be a more of a hang in there card. He has to work a bit harder at things. Oh wow, look at that. There you are. Look at that, the colours in that. That's amazing. I mean, if I do say so myself. If I do say so myself, you know, being modest and all. So there's the front of our card. What do you reckon about that? Pretty special. All right. So I'm going to pop my mask away now. I'm going to give it a bit of a wipe off first so all the ink doesn't. I should have actually remembered to wipe the mask down in between colours, but it didn't seem to transfer too much from one colour to the next, so that's fine. And it basically was probably better because I didn't cause any disruption. There you go. So I'll pop that mask away. Cool. So that is going to be, excuse me, that came out louder than I thought. That is the basis of my card there. So as I say, I've popped that straight onto the card base because I was feeling brave. Basically, if you were feeling a little bit less brave, pop it onto a piece of cardstock and then pop that onto your card base. So there we go. I've got that grid paper all a little bit damp now, so I might just turn it over because I'm going to use my Stamparatus again for my sentiment. Okay, so there we are. So these actually, I've decided these were so nice and quick and easy. I'm actually going to use them for my thank you cards for my next month's customers. So if you are a customer next month, you'll get one of these as a thank you card in the post at the end of the month. Yeah, so hopefully you'll like that when it comes through. I'm going to make it as simple because I really don't think it needs much more than that. Is going to just get a stitched rectangle here. I'm going to pop that. Oh, I probably should have left it a little wee bit bigger than I did because I wanted to come back. I'm going to try and delicately pop it. This may not work. I might just have to come back to my stamp. I'm going to use the lovely big thanks from the Biggest Wishes. This is an annual catalogue item, I believe. It seems to have been in my rack forever. I'm going to use the thanks. As I say, these are the thank you cards for my customers. So there's the nice big thanks there. I've cut the stitch rectangle just to the right size. So that should be okay if I pop it in there. If not, I've already done one, so I can bring that in. We'll just attach that to my, don't you move away. Attach that to my, make sure that hasn't moved too much. This has a wee bit because my magnets weren't covering enough. So I'm going to straighten that up. I just have to revert back to my block, but we'll see because I did want to go in and come in a few times. So try that again. There we are, that's better. Didn't stick quite as badly. I'm going to use from our beautiful colour range here, I'm going to use the Coastal Cabana for my sentiment. And I'm going to bring it in a few times to get some nice block colour. Nice dark colour from our coastal, and that's the good thing with your Stamparatus. If you stamp something and it doesn't come quite as dark or as complete as you wanted, you can, because you've got it all lined up, you can come in a few times, and you can even see there how much darker and yeah, how much darker and clearer that is the second time. So I'm going to come in for a third time. Third time's a charm. And that's pretty good. There we are. So that's a nice, thick, dark thank you. Okay, so we'll bring our card back in. And look, to be honest, all I'm going to do, I'll just get rid of my Stamparatus now. All I'm going to do, very handy placed garbage bin down the side of my craft table, nice flat top that gets all the things I'm trying to just put aside. Oh, and now I've just dropped a card. I'll get that in a second. Okay, so my thanks is just going to pop straight there, and then that card is done. So I'm going to pop the thanks onto some dimensionals. At least I should do something a little bit special with it. Somebody's just come in my front door. I wonder who that is. Could be a burglar. No. Who's that? Oh, it's a robber. It's my husband. Oh, yeah. I thought you'd gone to work. I forgot. Here we are. So there we are. We've got our little thanks there. I'm going to pop that on our card front. And that one is pretty much done. I can put some bling on there if I wanted to, but actually I think that's just enough. I think that colour and that beautiful bright rainbow, that sort of does enough for that one. So there we are. That's going to be, as I say, my customer thank you card for April. So yeah, that's great. I always leave my customer cards blank, so you get the thanks, but you can always use it again for yourself, later on if you want to, or you want to keep it for a sample or something like that. So there we are. So that's one use of that beautiful rainbow with the decorative mask. I actually, from yesterday, I did another panel of it, which was fundamentally the same as that, but I did it on a separate piece of cardstock. And I'm just going to show you a couple of little ideas. As soon as I pick this card that I dropped on the floor, a couple of ideas of how to use it if you just didn't want to use it on the front of a card like that. Making funny noises as I stand up, like it must be getting on a bit. Okay, so the piece that I made yesterday basically used the same colours, same mask, basically fundamentally the same as that, but as I said, slightly different. I'm even going to be using my thanks in Coastal Cabana. I have a white card base, same dimensions, 8 1/4 by 5 3/4, or 5 1/2, of deep, thick cardstock. I have a 2-inch wide panel of our masked cardstock. So that's the one that I've done. That's sort of half of it, basically. And then a 2 1/8 inch piece of Coastal Cabana. So what I'm going to do is basically lay the Coastal Cabana behind the masked panel, and I'm going to glue that on. Hopefully you can't hear that. He's headed into the bathroom to dry his hair. He's been to the swimming pool. There we are. So I'm laying that just on that. I might have to trim the ends. They're both 5 1/2 inches long, so they're going to be exactly the same length as that card base there. Oh no, it looks pretty good. So there we are. So we'll just have that with the sort of Coastal Cabana sort of border on either side. I'm just going to put that straight onto the card base, and I'm just going to glue that as well. So leaving a small sort of 1/2 inch border or something, I suppose, on the left-hand side. Just going to pop that straight on there. And then in the same theme as the first card, I've got another thanks. So this is another thanks on a stitched rectangle there, same as the original card. And I'm just going to pop that on as well. And I'm not even going to mount it on dimensionals. I'm just going to pop it straight on there. So partially on the white and partially on the on the masked panel, just like that. And this one I think could definitely use some bling because we haven't got quite as much of the masking as we have with the other one. So I'll bring in my bling folder. What are we going to use? Oh, some iridescent gems, I think. Perfect. So I'll take my pick tool. Oh, that's the wrong end. That's the end I want. And then pop some gems on. There we are. So there we are. So another thanks card or thank you card. I may well make that one of my customer thank yous as well. So we've got 2 there. So basically, as I say, that is like half or a 2-inch strip of this original masked panel. Nice and simple, easy, not much to it. So the third one and the other half, so as I say, I've taken that panel and cut it in half. So half of it I've used on this one. The other half I've actually popped through my cut and emboss machine with my Brilliant Wings dies. And I've got 3 quite bright and beautiful little butterflies there. You can see they've got the masking colour behind their little, well, as part of their little wings. They're quite cute. Pop them on the white so you can see them better on the white. And then what I've got, so they sort of really stand out from the white, really special. So I've got as I say, a panel of basic white, and I've popped that through the gingham embossing folder. So you can see it's got that sort of checker sort of look to it. And I've got a card base of Coastal Cabana. So they are like that. So we've got the nice bright summery Coastal Cabana. I'm just going to add that panel to that. So there. Make sure that's on the right side. Sometimes I make cards completely backwards and then wonder why they don't open properly. I'm sure I'm not the only one to have done that in their time. Put all the effort in and then realise it opens from right to left rather than left to right. That's okay. Okay, so there we have our card base. Then I'm going to bring in our little butterflies. And I have a sentiment circle. Well, it's not really a box. This is from the Tasteful Labels die set, just a sort of a stitched circle there. And I'm actually going to use a sentiment from the Sweet Conversations die set, which is happy to have you in my life, which is quite nice. It's not, I was going to say, if Lee is watching, Lee, if you're watching, you look away. But it's not actually a birthday, although I have done the thank yous. So hopefully you'll forgive me for that. Haven't merged into thank you birthday land, but I have done thank you. So what I might do is bring in because we've got Coastal Cabana and we want something a little bit darker, I'm going to bring in my Bermuda Bay because that's a sort of a darker, stronger version almost of the Coastal Cabana. Still using the old stamp pad style for that one. That's how well it's lasted. So I'm going to say happy to have you in my life. It's the first time I've used it, so I'll give it a couple of practice stamps. There we are. So I'm going to pop that over to the left-hand side with our little butterflies sort of dancing around it like that. Totally cute. All right, so I'm going to attach our butterflies. Now I know how I want them. Just pop some glue on their little bodies. That's all I do with my butterflies. I just glue the body, and because I sort of like the way that the wings can sort of flap around a wee bit. will look a bit natural, although they get flattened in an envelope, of course. To hold them down for a little time because they're actually on that embossed, probably not the contact with the glue that we'd normally have. Nice one. Here we are. I've got my 10:30 sunbeam coming up there, so I might just beat it. So I've got our little circle. I'm going to pop that on dimensionals. I wish that hair would go away. It's still there. Now it's on my finger. I just grab some little dimensionals. Particularly even with my placement there, but that's okay. Pop that on there. Yeah, and I might give our little butterflies a little bit of iridescent bling as well. Maybe just one on each of their heads, if that's where their head would be. Yeah, and that's the third card with our masked, not that you'd tell, but there you are. So that's our third card with our layered masks. Yeah, there we go. So that's what that one looks like. So hopefully you like that. I really love the sort of colours of those little butterflies as they almost look mosaic-y almost. It's quite nice. Okay, so that's that one. So we've done 3 cards with that one masking technique. The original one here, as I say, which is my customer thank you card for April. This one here, which is also thanks, but it just uses a 2-inch strip of the masked panel, and our beautiful butterflies, which is the other half there. So hopefully you like those. That's all I wanted to show you today. So I might go and have a cup of coffee and see how hubby went with his swim. There we go. There's our 3 cards. So as I say, the masks, there's lots and lots and lots of things you could do with the mask. That's probably the simplest that I've done there, but with the layering you can create lots of excellent panels. As I say, I do have a video if you'd like to, they're all stuck together. I do have a video if you'd like to scroll back a wee bit on my YouTube channel. But there they are, the butterfly and flower layering decorative masks. And as I say, with a beautiful rainbow of bright colours. Okay, so there we are. That's it for today. I'll see you all again during the week. But as I say, if you have any questions about any of the products that you see today, everything is current or an active product. We do have our big sale starting in, what is it today, the 21st. So in 2 days from the 23rd, we have our last chance sale. So you'll get to grab a whole lot of wonderful retiring products from the annual catalogue, which will roll into the new catalogue very, very soon. So keep an eye out for that. Watch it on my Facebook page and I'll put all the details there. So anyway, have a great day. Enjoy the sunshine if you've got it. And I will talk to you all next time.